I will now show you first, because we are going to execute the ambient tiles builder and the map PBF builder, PBF data builder, how to head over to the things on the command line. Because the folder names are friendly and I already know them by heart, but if you don't, you can just look up with the lsl command, and the source can look at the source code of the readme. And there we want to jump into this directory, and we do that by cd map pbf builder. Need to ensure that it's up. It's now execution of a builder what we do. And now I have a memory of with what. Okay, we are now inside the directory, and what do you do now? We click. I hope this works. No, it's, and we get the command from there. Because they have different commands to execute, or slightly different commands, say the same for some exceptions. And it's good to copy them from the README. You don't have to remember them by heart. You can copy it. Be smart. Copy things. Work with copy and paste. And then we can execute. You see, the end file is the one we exported earlier. It's then pointing to the environment file. And we can hit the thing which I call enter. Yes. Docker is a critical system, so you need to execute as root. And then it will execute. It prompts you for your password. If you type in your password, you won't see that you type. Please don't ask me why. And then it's this magic of Docker. It fetches the image we use. This is a Ubuntu, so it really spins off a virtual Ubuntu on my computer, and then installs the required resources, the dependencies this builder has. So it's just running commands inside. It takes a while, and it runs then other commands. It's also shown what it wants. It installs some tools needed for downloading and extracting. Fun fact is the script, the builder, is itself just one bash script, which now gets executed. And you see, it then downloads data, the complete data of Mauritania. It's fast because it's a small, it doesn't contain much data. If you, for example, download Hamburg, it's much bigger and will take more time. Depending on the region, for example, Brazil, I think Brazil is really big, and also maybe also good mapped, has an active community. It will be going to be larger, and I selected not Mauritania because it's a little one, at least for OSM dimensions. And then it will, it downloaded it. It was not still the script. It just downloaded something needed. now it wants something. Okay, yes. This is execution of still of the Docker. Its container it still builds the Docker container. Was confused. Um, this step is only necessary one because Docker caches every step. So if you already have run all the steps previously, Docker won't run them again, except there are some changes to them. Then of course it will run it again. But it makes huge use of caching, which is good and fast because it allows you to work fast and to not to wait too long. And because now it's long because to show you the step, I resetted everything. We deleted my whole Docker containers on here, which I also recommend you to do on your development machine, because if you're going to start with Docker, it can go on your disk space, because there, sometimes there are so many containers and you can then clean them up by deleting a specified directory, which are already all in. It's already that's Mauritania. So look how fast it was, and then it extracts it. It depends on how many containers and how much you work with Docker, how much it will then take disk space. On production server, you won't do that, of course. We will stick to it and try to clean it in a nicer way, not in a less destructive way. And what the script has done now, it builds. This is the actual script we wrote. That's why it's green. It's the color Docker chose for it, and it just downloaded Mauritania and extracted this PBR file saved using the bounding box we specified earlier in the configuration file we created. And I will show you now where it's saved using my graphical environment. There's a folder data actually, and there will you find a Mauritania noctshot folder. It's created automatically, and then you will find another folder. In this case, it's OTP because it's the name of the extension on the Trufi server repo, and the data inside the things inside are structure identical to what the structure in Trufi server. So you can just go and copy everything and paste it later on the server itself. It's pretty handy. And now we can get into, and there as you see, it's a Mauritania noctshot file. And also only having this size 4.2 megabytes. It's it's pretty sure as city like noctshot. It's not the whole country. The whole country has, I think, 20 megabytes. This is not much for 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 OSM. Probably the same case of the unit country. And then once we are execute and follow the tutorial here, it also says you where it's saved, what we have already seen on here. So you always know what to look for and where to look it up. That's great. It also took a long time to find the structure, which is good and documentation friendly. Okay, now we can go on to execute Amitrals build, and I hope it works because sometimes I have weird errors. it smells like fire. Okay. Also, CDMB tiles, I will make use of auto-completion. Yes. You see CD and then the dot dot slash, it's a convention to go one directory back. So we just switched from this one to back to this one, as you can see. It's a nice shortcut. You don't have to specify the rule path again. Also, our internal builder scripts work with that notation. It's pretty handy. Okay, now we go cd mb tiles, also auto completion because it's smart, and also there we open the config file, the readme file, and see how to execute, how to use it, because this one is special. It's not directly a Docker container, a Docker compose. It's a bash file, but I need to open it on the way. It's a bash file. You can see it's here generate MB tiles. Yes, okay. I wrote that bash script, and that bash script does multiple things. First, we again copy the full commands here, execute them. You see, and then I hope this will run, because I created and calibrated to run, and we hit enter, and it also utilize some things like git, and it installs automatically a bunch of Docker images needed. If you want to understand how the code works, you can look into its source code. It makes extensive use of the open map tiles way of building map tiles, because we use open map tiles to create MB tiles. And MB tiles, you can see in the description, are needed by the extension tile server. We go shortly into it, what they do, and what they are, and it depends on the following builders. That's why we execute MB tiles builder, map pbf builder first. And this is a description of it. And also again the same structure, you see they're equal or similar, and also there's again the output. If that script works, sometimes it has errors and I don't know how to fix them, and sometimes it works. It's a jumping table. There's still some problems needed to solve. And also this step, the pulling, is also done by Docker or Docker Compose, and it's also caged. So if you run it again, it won't pull the images again because they're caged. They are already downloaded, and also this speeds up things and makes things really smart. And again, for this tutorial, I cleaned everything up so you don't wonder. But if you run it the second time, it won't take it so long, like because Docker is smart. It caches everything, which makes it really a great tool. It has its drawbacks, of course, but it's incredibly powerful. So this unfortunately takes a bit too much time, so I will go on and explain things. I told you that this MB tile builder is also important for the for the static map tiles builder, because the service open map tiles server is much in resources. I explained to you earlier that cheap servers have problems running this because it's an issue of ambitile to be much in resources, but also it's really smart and dynamic, and once configured, and I configured it already, so you don't have to, or you can follow my tutorials because I documented it. It's really smart because it allows you to define different map backwards. You already know the map styles from OpenStreetMap, and we can create these map tiles, map styles also by ourselves, which allows us to be more dynamic. And also it takes not much time to generate these. It just takes, okay, it's proceeding. Now you see, it's doing a lot of things. It's throwing a lot of things up on in the background. You should watch the yes, the output as it pops up. This what we see here is the script maintained by OpenMapTiles. It's not the script written by me. We just call it. And what the script does, we called earlier. So this one does, it prepares the environment, and also it cleans up the environment. So it's basically just preparing things and cleaning up things. So it works with our structure. And also this, because it uses Docker, takes advantage of caching, because it also now need to download things needed to download to generate. But if you run it again and the containers image is still there because you don't delete it, then it will go faster, incredible fast, depending on your computer. Yeah, I will close it. Oh no, not close it, but in minimize. I will explain something now the readme folder, because I can go a step ahead. You see already each has its readme, each has their documented to which for which extension this is necessary to execute. So you have this full view, so you have the full image of and the full clue what this is about and for what I need it actually. This is needed for tile server, for the extension tile server, and others are needed. For example, this is needed for the extension static maps. It's a tool written by XAML. The builder is a tool written by XAML. The static map extension is just a web server. But yes, it's with the way you can get a clue what is for what and what is connected to what. And after that, if you execute all builders, you need to apply a fix. Every command you execute here from this file is relative to the directory of this readme. It's not an accident. It's for purpose to not confuse. Because we mount volumes on Docker. Volumes are ways to mount Fortune file systems. Fortune, for example, can show you. For example, I need to execute one. No. Oh, okay, we'll do that. I will now connect to my server and now to Trufi server using my custom scripts, which do already everything. Yes, I need to type in my password. You don't know, it's secret, and then it opens, it mounts it, and this is a similar concept to what Trufi what Docker does. You see, this is a directory on my computer, but that redirects to the contents of the server. So actually, what you see here is on the server. And this is a feature only Mac and Linux have. Windows don't have that in that way. And you see, this is just a regular folder on my computer. On Windows, you have here a separate network view where are all things mounted regarding to networks. Say, for example, file systems on different servers. In Linux, this is different, and on Linux, it's integrated natively on your file system if you want it. And I want it because I want to have things and yes, we can look in. It's nothing secret here. No, can look at how the current structure works. This current structure. It's a mess. I know because it's it's the old one, and yes, it's ugly. I know, but this is how I work. Uh, I have a terminal on my other screen and have this open on my primary screen, or the other way around, and work with that when to copy things over to here. I do that with a graphical user interface. And this is what the same concept of Docker. But Docker is a system which runs on root as root user, and as such, it automatically owns all files it creates. So we need to reset so we can access these files created and work with them, because we have to. We want to work with them. That's why we created them. And this is the command to make it. It basically does sudo the right escalation, and shown is a file. No, it's a command with the recursive flag, which is R, to set every file and every to own every file and every directory inside data and data itself to your user. And sudo, it's a environment variable, sudo user, set by usudo, and it specifies the username of the user who executes sudo. I can show you that in a terminal, because it may be important, so you don't wonder. I will execute sudo, and I won't explain the thing here. Oh no, I won't explain the thing here because it's more deep into Linux, Linux and terminals work. And I will now grab it. I've specified my password because I use that command as well. And this prints all my environment variables, and the output of that command will be redirected to this one, and this is a search program. It searches the list for this for strings with sudo user, and you see here CERN is my username here. You see it's identical. This is just what the command does. And yes, and this is pretty much the end of it. I explain a concept, a resource binding. I won't go into deeper detail of that. It's documented, but we will see it when we now switch over once the script finished. Yes, because that's easy to explain. I will do that now. I can close it because we are done. I don't know why it's unsaved. Okay. Maybe I changed something additionally. Okay. I will show you the thing. Oh no. Yeah. It's not good for video cutting if I jump over to things. But I will do now as we will do as with we will now imagine that this is ready. We have already this data, and I will copy move it over there, and we now have everything ready, and I can execute